Monomial has one term. So we're on the part where it says, what is a monomial? Let's see. It's a combination of numbers or variables side by side to make one term. So x squared is a monomial, one term. If you put a number in front of that and make it 3x squared, it's still a monomial.
And how many examples does it say find the degree of each monomial if it has like a bunch of things? Like
we'll do it together. Okay, come on. And then how do you classify or name monomials? Here's how you do it. So you'll say the degree and then monomial. So this is like a name. Just like you have a first and last name, monomials get names too. Monomials are people too. Okay, so degree comes first. You'll say what the degree is, and then you'll say monomial. Two parts. To get the degree, which is what we're about to do, you have to add up the variable exponents. So the degree is your power, like your exponential power. And so we'll add up our exponents to get the degree, and then we'll say blank monomial. Okay, so first, these examples, we're finding the degree of each monomial. So to get the degree, you add up the variable exponents, or the exponents on the variables, if you want to think about it that way. Number 1, 2x squared y. So 2 is not a variable. So I'm talking about x. What variable, or what exponent does y have right now? None, it's a 1. So now add up your exponents. That would be 2 plus 1. So my degree is 3. That's it. Okay, look at the next one. It's just 12. Are there any variables? Do you see any? No. No, this is called a constant. So there's no variables, so the degree is 0. Because there's no exponents to add up. Constants have a degree of 0. So there's no variables. The next one, if you don't see an exponent, what exponent's there? 1. So there's actually, all of these have an exponent of 1. Add them all up. And our degree is what, Kayla? 4. Okay. And then our degree for the last one, 4b cubed c. What variable, I keep doing it. What exponent does c have? 1. So I would add up my exponents. 3 plus 1 would give me a total of a degree of 4. And it's not 4 because the number in front, it's 4 because I'm adding up my exponents. Okay, so those are your degrees. So now polynomial, we kind of talked about this together. Polynomial has more than one term. Poly means multiple. Like if you're polygamous, you have more than one wife, okay? They still exist. So polynomial is monomials added or subtracted together. So you're going to have more than one term. For a polynomial to be in standard form, says what is a standard form of a polynomial? You want the degrees to decrease from left to right. So let's make that. Degrees are going to go largest to smallest. I'll write an example for you. So here's an example of a polynomial in standard form, and you had one on the board earlier. 3x squared plus 2x minus 6. Degree of 2, degree of 1, degree of 0. So it's from largest to smallest. Okay, just like monomials have names, polynomials get names. And we name them the same way. We name with a degree and then the number of terms. So when you're naming, first thing you tell me is what's the degree, and there's a specific name for the degree. And then you'll tell me number of terms. There's specific names for that too. So just like you have a first and last name, so do polynomials. First name is a degree, the second name is a number of terms. The last name. This is a little chart that I forget to change every single year. I would like this chart to look like the one that I've made over here, but I keep forgetting to change it. So if after we're done you want to take a picture of this, that's totally fine. So let's look at degrees. If the degree is 0, we call it a constant. If the degree is 1, like you see here, 3x minus 5, you know that's linear, because y equals mx plus b. If the degree is 2, it's called a quadratic. We'll talk more about that later, but for now, know if it's a degree of 2, the highest power is 2, it's quadratic. Degree of 3 is called cubic. Degree of 4 is called quartic, so like a quarter. Degree of 5 is called quintic, and then after that, you can just say 6th degree, 7th degree, 8th degree, etc. And the number of terms. Monomial is 1. Binomial is 2. Trinomial, 3. After that, you can just say polynomial. So once it gets past 3 terms, just say poly. This will take some practice. We're going to get it. So let's practice on the back. We're going to name a few. Oh my goodness. Sorry. Okay. So write it in standard form, and then what's the name? So if it's to get it in standard form, you want the degree to go from largest to smallest. Your degree is simply your highest exponent when we're talking about a polynomial. So we've got a degree of 1 and degree of 2. You need to switch the order for it to be in standard form. We want it to go from largest to smallest. So it's going to be 4x squared plus 3x. That's in standard form. Now we name it. When we ask you about the degree, I want you to look at the highest one. What's the highest degree? Like the highest exponent? 2. So my degree is 2. So then I would say, okay, my degree is 2, so this is quadratic.
How come that, like, other x's and not like a 1 on top of it?
Right. You can put it, but it's implied. So like there's 1x there, so we know it's an exponent of 1. But it's not a monomial, so you're not going to add up the exponents. You just look at the first one. The first monomial with the highest is 2. And then how many terms does it have? Terms are the separated things by adding or subtracting. How many terms? 2. If it's 2 terms, it's called a binomial because it has 2. Instead of a poly, we say bi. So this is called a quadratic. Binomial, that's its first and last name. So look at the highest degree, figure out how many terms. Okay, next one. You do have some like terms you need to combine. So if you look right here, you got 4x and 7x. You need to add those up first, because they're like terms. So then if we write this in standard form, the cubed has to go first, the highest exponent first. So 5x cubed. And then the x's are the next highest because they have an exponent of 1. If you combine those, you get 11x. And then the constant, that -1, that goes last. First name is degree. What's the highest exponent? 3. So highest we called cubic. Cube is 3-dimensional. That's a way to remember it. And how many terms does it have?
3.
1, 2, 3. Trinomial, because that's 3 terms. So this is a cubic trinomial. Okay. Now the last thing we're going to do today is simplifying, which you've done before, basically, because you know how to combine like terms, and that's all we're going to do. So just a couple of reminders for you. When you go to do this, so how do you add or subtract polynomials, just like you would anything else when you're combining like terms. So just a reminder for you, first thing you need to do, if you have a negative, you need to distribute negative. If there are any. Sometimes that's not going to be necessary. And then you can mark your like terms and combine them. So I'll just say combine like terms. We did this so many times last semester, so we should be good at it. And then you need to write it in standard form. Yeah, Jackson?
What is that first one? Like, what do you distribute?
So if there's, like the second example that you see here, look, see how the first one has a plus sign in between? The second one has subtraction. So the one that has a subtraction sign, you'll have to distribute. So I guess I mean distribute the subtraction sign if it's subtraction. Otherwise, you just combine like terms. So this first one is addition, so you're just going to combine like terms like normal. I find that it usually helps students take away the parentheses, because you're just adding up these two polynomials. So I'm going to rewrite it just all together. This is 4x cubed plus x squared minus 5 plus 7x. So I'm just taking out the parentheses because I don't need it because I'm not going to distribute anything. Plus x cubed minus 3x squared. In order to be like terms, they have to have this exact same variable. Mark your like terms, please. What's a like term to 4x cubed? What is my... This one, right? These two are like terms because their variable is the exact same. Mark them. Make sure you take the plus sign in front. Okay, and then we'll move on to squared. X squared is a like term to negative 3x squared. And I don't think there's anything else that is in common. So combine your like terms. That's 4x cubed plus x cubed, which will give me 5x cubed x squared minus 3x squared would be negative 2x squared. And then we're doing it in standard form, so plus 7x minus 5, largest to smallest. Anything with a variable has to come before the constant. Okay, we're going to name it just for the sake of it. What's your degree? 3. So what do we name that if it has a degree of 3? Cubic. This is a cubic, and it's got 4 terms, so you can just say polynomial, a cubic polynomial. Okay, and then the last one, here's where I mean distribute the negative. So because this is subtraction, distribute the negative first. So I'm going to distribute this one in the middle to there, there, and there, and then rewrite it. Once I distribute, I'm going to have you try and do the rest. So the first term, or first parentheses, stay the same. And then it's going to be negative times a negative would give me plus 2z squared minus 5z plus 1. So it changes the sign because you're subtracting. Please combine your like terms, make sure it's in standard form, and then name it. Go ahead and try this one on your own. Yeah.
If we just leave this one by itself, since it doesn't have like a...
Right. So you don't have anything to combine it with. So it'll just go make sure it goes like in the correct order. The stuff without variables, those are like terms. Reminder for you. So this is a quadratic. Yeah. It'll be up for a long time. I might take it down before the test, but I might also leave it up. We'll see. Ask me that again. I for sure, I wouldn't expect you to memorize that until we've done a lot more practice with it, because it's so weird. Okay. You should get 6z squared minus 5z minus 2, and that is a quadratic trinomial.
Try.